Right, welcome back to the program. You're still watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Let's talk about politics now, as another rift has opened up in the New Nigeria People's Party. Former Governor of Kano State and former Minister, as well as the NNPP's 2023 presidential candidate, Senator Kwankwaso, has signaled his readiness to align with the ruling APC come 2027. If some of these negotiations consider, their negotiations around what it will take for the APC to bring them back into the fold. But as you can imagine, the NNPP leadership is not particularly pleased with this development. Led by its party founders, it insists that Kwankwaso and his Kwankwaso faction have been expelled and therefore cannot negotiate on behalf of the NNPP. Join us to provide some context to this conversation is the National Chairman of the NNPP, Dr. Agbor Major, here to provide some analysis on what this means for the party. Thank you so much for stopping by again. It's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good evening, viewers.
Right, beg your pardon there. Why does it still bother you when Kwankwaso is in the news and NNPP is linked to him?
Well, ordinarily it should bother us because once you are not part of something, you don't need to be associated with it. Unfortunately, they've continued to drag the name of our party into some of these things they do. And if we don't say it, onlookers wouldn't understand exactly what the games are. So for each time that they come out to say anything and they are linked to the NNPP, instead of staying well within the boundary of their Kwankwaso movement, it calls for concern for us, and that's why we're always swift in reacting to some of these things. But in doing that, the principal thing is to continue to let unsuspecting Nigerians know, because a lot of Nigerians do not know exactly what the true state in terms of his membership of the party, or maybe the membership of the entire Kwankwaso movement of the party is concerned. So we have to keep letting Nigerians know that nothing has changed about the status quo. They remain expelled. They are no longer members of our party. And so they cannot continue to deceive people, by continuing or continually linking themselves to the party, which tends to suggest that they are still members of the party. Well, in the actual sense, they are not.
Well, let's talk about some of the details of that conversation he had while hosting some APC members earlier this past week. He said, quote, "We are ready to join APC under strong conditions and promises. We will not allow anyone to use and later dump us." Sounds like he's trying to negotiate a good deal for the NNPP. Why do you object?
Well, first, it's ridiculous that he is wary or trying to let us understand that he doesn't want to, to be cheated in any way, when we know his antecedents politically is somebody that is known for shifting always, depending on where his interest lies and all of that. So we have a case of someone who is guilty of something, trying to accuse another of planning to foist on him that thing for which he is known. Nigerians know him as somebody who is always jumping from one place to the other. And here he is now saying that if they have to move to APC at all, the conditions have to be clear. I don't want to dwell much on him and his matter as it relates to their proposed movement to the APC. Of course, I'm sure they came from the APC, Nigerians are aware of that, to join us. And they've long left us by the provisions of the Abia High Court judgment as well as the FCT court judgment. As a matter of fact, you are aware that they're the ones that took us to the court in FCT, and they lost, So those two judgments effectively sent them away from the party. And so wherever they are going to does not interest us in any way. But what we are saying is, if you want to go, just go your way. We have no business. We've long disconnected from you. And so whatever you want to do does not concern us. But don't link our party to it.
You don't mind losing Kano, your control of Kano. You don't mind losing Governor Abba Kabir.
I have said this repeatedly here. Governor Abba Kabir is a gentleman. But the issues we have with him is that he doesn't seem to have that independence that is required for him to be able to function, and then serve Kano people. Because, of course, you and I know...
How did you arrive at that verdict?
Well,
that he's unable to make...
The indices are there, clearly. You are not a member of NNPP, so you won't understand. I can only speak to you from the level of maybe the understanding that I'm interacting with a pressman. But as a core party person, the chairman of the party, for that matter, I do know that no decision the man has taken that has been completely seen to be free of interference from Kwankwaso. Kwankwaso brought him.
Some would say his obedience or loyalty to Kwankwaso has paid off if it got him to the Kano State government house.
At the detriment of the people of Kano?
I'm not sure that is a fair thing to say. I mean, the Kano people have not given their verdict on that yet.
Have you interacted with Kano people? I'm sure you have your correspondence there.
Right.
You need to interact with them to know how they feel.
So
why will they be running Kano State from Abuja?
You think Abba Kabir has failed? Is that the NNPP's
Well,
position?
he was elected on the platform of the NNPP, and so it won't be fair of me to completely carpet him by saying that he has failed. I wouldn't want to say that, because if I have said that, it means I am also saying that there is no potency in our manifesto, because it is assumed and believed that he should be implementing the manifestos of the NNPP. So it won't be fair on my part to say he has failed. But what I can tell you is that the undue interference from his master, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is affecting him badly. And it's making him not to be able to deliver maximally to the expectations of the good people of Kano. And I'm sure that if you interact with Kano people, you will understand what I'm talking about.
So is this a trade-off you're willing to accept? If it means getting rid of Kwankwaso, you wouldn't mind losing Abba Kabir Yusuf?
Well, we do know...
And the leadership of the State Assembly and everybody else on the banner.
Does it matter? Have they added any value to the party? The fueled crisis. The entire crisis we've seen that has rocked the parties in 2023 originated from Kano. So what values have they added? Instead of ensuring that the party that gave them ticket to run and get elected and sworn into office, instead of ensuring that there is stability, what we are seeing is the abusing, fueling crisis everywhere, disconnecting people, making it look as if NNPP itself has no manifestos or no programs to implement and all of that. And so it is worrisome. So it's going to be bad riddance to, good riddance to bad rubbish. But what I want to tell you is that it does not concern us wherever they go to, because like I told you and I'm saying again, they've long ceased to be part of us. So wherever they are going to is clearly their business. What we are saying is we don't want unsuspecting politicians or Nigerians to be made to believe that they are coming there with the strength or whatever, as well as with our platform. No, the answer is no. They don't have the platform. As I speak to you now, Kwankwaso as a person has no platform. And his entire followership has no platform. Abba Kabir Yusuf has been on suspension. He is a member of the party, though serving suspension. But what we are saying is for Kwankwaso and his co-travelers, they've long left, by the provisions of those judgments. And so wherever they are going to, it's not supposed to be of any form of concern to us. That's the truth.
All right. It's safe to say that you consider the conversations around 2027 and all the alignments, horse trading, all the overtures that have been made. Everybody wants the right players for their political platform for 2027. We've seen the coalition made overtures to Kwankwaso. We've seen the APC make overtures to Kwankwaso. It seems that everybody else values Kwankwaso's political currency, except his own party, or at least this side of the NNPP. Is it fair to say you don't know the value of what you have, and that's why you're willing to throw it away?
You are a staff of Trust TV. You know your colleagues very well. I am not a staff, so I won't be able to say anything about any staff here that will be accurate. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
But this is politics.
So as the chairman of NNPP, I should know Kwankwaso better than those who are extending these overtures to him. And I can tell you that that is always his stock in trade. What happens is that wherever it suits him to be is where he goes at the detriment of those who are following him. That's our concern. And let me tell you something. One of the things we've continued to say is that we are not a party that is built around an individual. We are a party that is built around its entire membership. So every member is a critical stakeholder and has an opportunity to make decisions. So nobody will just stand up from the comfort of his bedroom and say, because I am this, I am that, I'm the one that is being wooed and all of that. If they woo you, you go as an individual. You don't go with the party. That is not to say that, as a matter of fact, he's not a member of the party. But what we are worried about is that he should be speaking for himself. He should not be dragging the name of NNPP into all of these things that he's doing, because we know him very well. You know, he cannot be doing things that are at the detriment of the party and its membership. He can do things the way that suits him. We have no problems with that, as Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, but not on behalf of NNPP. That's just the whole message you are sending across.
And let's talk about that, because the battle for the heart and soul of the NNPP seems to still be raging on, because the Kwankwaso movement are still making their own plans, with the understanding that they still run the show at NNPP. So what are you looking at here, considering every action that they have taken over the last couple of weeks about planning for a convention, about everything else that they've been talking about?
There are two subsisting court judgments, one from Abia, one from FCT. The implications is that whatever they are doing in the name of NNPP is legally null and void. They have the right to continue to do what they are doing. But in the face of the law, what they are doing is illegal. We will not be interested in saying...
What about INEC, though?
INEC itself knows. You see, lately we have, initially we were trying to give Mahmoud an opportunity to do what is right in the face of the law. But we discovered suddenly that he wasn't forthcoming in being showing respect for the rule of law. And lately we have called him out. Nigerians have brought him under censorship. They are now asking him questions. What is really happening? We are aware that the original founders and members of the NNPP have two judgments that are still alive. Nothing has happened to those judgments. So why is it that today as we speak, you go to the website, you see Ajiji, you see this, you see that. But it is not...
Are you accusing INEC of complicity?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because it has failed in doing its job, in ensuring that there's stability within the NNPP.
I mean, INEC would say it doesn't have a dog in the fight.
Are there members? Is INEC a member of NNPP?
Yeah, so why would you accuse it of any sort of bias?
Because it is supposed to be seen to be independent, doing the right thing. But they've refused to do the right thing. If you are a government agency that is seen and ordinarily is expected to be bound by the provisions of the law, but here they are. For the past 6-7 months, they've grossly violated, the law by neglecting judgments delivered by two courts of competent jurisdiction. One in Abia, we instituted that. One here, that these enemies instituted. Yet, they are not strong enough for INEC to act on them. Is it that they are not strong enough, or that they are being partisan? And these are the things that we're talking about. Nigerians have now started asking questions. What really is going on? Why are you taking sides in this internal dispute within the NNPP? But I can tell you that maybe because Mahmoud is on his way, he's no longer interested in dealing with it. I am sure that the incoming chairman will do what is right. If Mahmoud fails to do what is right before he exits. But I can tell you that eventually they've shot themselves on the leg by continually ignoring these judgments. And it is now having a ripple effect on their reputation, the leadership of INEC. Right. Because it is expected that before now, they were supposed to have done what is right in the face of the law.
I mean, we've had several conversations about internal political crisis on this particular platform, and I don't remember any group or faction within the political party call the other group enemies.
I think that's actually not the right word to use, but it's okay. Accept my apologies for that.
Having said that, is this
but in a way too, looking at their disposition, there's nothing wrong in referring to them as enemies, because they are democracy. They are anti-stability of the party.
Sounds
so
to me,
they are
sounds to me
enemies
like
of the
you're
party.
doubling down on what you said earlier. So my question is this relationship irreparable? Are you trying to fix your relationship with Kwankwaso? Are you trying to fix your relationship with the Kwankwaso movement?
You
or
have
is
asked,
this relationship
You
dead
have
already?
asked this question so many times. And I've explained repeatedly by telling you that when the whole trouble started, the founder of the party, Dr. Boniface Okechukwu-Anebuna, in his usual magnanimous mind, opened this window for discussions to be held. But these people were recalcitrant. I've said this here in your studio repeatedly over time. They were recalcitrant, you know. And it was looking as if they were almost like trying to say, okay, we are the drivers. When in the actual sense, they were not, and they are still not the drivers. So if the owner of a house says, no problem, let us talk, and you that is visiting says, we will not talk, and then you continue to drag from that level, it will get to a level that the owner will say, okay, if the window is closed, there's no more room for talking, leave my house. That's exactly what happened. But because we didn't want to be seen to have taken laws into our hands by asking them to go, you know, we had to go to court. We went to court in Abia. The court said, okay, that's right. Based on the evidences provided, these people are no longer members of your party. You have terminated the MOU that married the two of you together. It's now terminated. On the strength of that, the court ruled that they are gone. They are no longer members of the party. They were not comfortable with that. They now ran to the FCT High Court. They took us there, and they lost. The same FCT High Court that they took us to reinforced the Abia judgment by saying that they are no longer members of the party. So I want to tell you that if I am visiting you in Trust TV now, and I am the one fighting you, and you are magnanimous and open-hearted enough to say, let us talk, and I continue to insist we are not talking, it will get to a level that you will suddenly realize that you are even the owner of Trust TV and that I'm only visiting. So if you want me to answer you directly, what I can tell you is that the window is closed because we have discovered that these are people that can never be trusted. And part of this trust that is lacking is what you are seeing now. Somebody will just wake up from the comfort of his bedroom and say he's negotiating or he's looking at going to APC with the NNPP that he doesn't even have. Is that the kind of person that you would ever want to trust? Or somebody who says he's a senior member of the party, a member of the BOT, for instance, coming to say there will be civil war. I'm talking about Buba Galadiba now. There will be civil war if an INEC chairman, maybe the one that he doesn't like, is appointed. There will be civil war. That's reckless. NNPP has no room for people like that. So we don't need those kind of people because the party is a peaceful party. For about 22 years, it ran seamlessly and peacefully.
In the shadows.
All till they came.
In the shadows.
How?
In the shadows.
How?
I mean, you have to admit...
The party was winning elections.
NNPP was in the shadows.
Was it not winning elections? Was it not winning elections?
For the most part. Not at the national level, you haven't.
Who told you that?
Not at the national level. You've never had a presidential candidate come forth in any presidential election before.
What position did Kalu Idika Kalu take in 2007?
You're not sincerely comparing him and Kwankwaso. What was the vote? What was the vote count?
Kwankwaso, I mean, Kalu Idika Kalu got votes that were spread across all the regions.
But
that is how a party should be.
It wasn't 2/3 of what Kwankwaso got in 2023.
What did Kwankwaso get and what did Kalu Idika Kalu get?
He got over 1 million votes. That's something that you can't dismiss. No matter how you feel about Kwankwaso, you can't dismiss that it's not easy getting 1 million votes. People get into government houses with 300,000 votes.
That's for an election that is to determine a governor of a state.
Right.
But an election that is to determine a president, hold on.
Yeah.
An election, look, he got that vote, got those votes, not because he is Kwankwaso, but because those votes, those same volume of votes were delivered to the governor.
Right.
And you know the level of illiteracy that is brought into electioneering in this country. In a state, if it is agreed that you should be governor, you will see that the votes cast for you would also be the vote cast for me that is your presidential candidate from that same state. If you don't know, let me tell you.
Kwankwaso got the first votes before
he got
his vote because we had the presidential election
votes
first.
Yes, the presidential election came first, but I'm telling you that he got those votes because of the level of acceptability of Abba Kabir Yusuf. That's what I'm telling you.
And I thought we had already established that he was He's a political protege of Rabi Musa Kwankwaso. I mean, there would be no Abba Kabir if there was no Kwankwaso, right?
No. If Kwankwaso had presented another candidate in Kano, we would have lost that election.
Okay. I mean, I guess we'll never know.
He presented Abba Kabir Yusuf because he knows that Abba Kabir Yusuf is one man that is very dear to the good people of Kano State.
Okay. I'm not sure.
So he rode on that.
I'm not sure if...
To get the 1.9 million votes you're talking about.
Okay. Just briefly before we go, because we're completely out of time. It looks like it's no retreat, no surrender on both sides, right?
No,
how do you see this ending for the NNPP, very briefly? How does this end?
There is nothing to worry about. There's no shaking. We're comfortable. The structure is intact. The structure they met when they came is intact. And we're working with the structure. So we're only just going to consolidate. But what I can tell you is that it is good that you are saying it, and I'm confirming it to you that there is, of course, no retreat, no surrender, because we won't be dealing with ingrates going forward. They've come to damage the party. Of course, they came, they added value, they damaged it. Nobody is comfortable with that kind of thing now, politically. Look at where we are today as a party. We climbed up to the 4th position in 2023, but look at the extent to which he has, out of selfishness, destroyed the entire glory that we struggled to get. You know, so it is no retreat, no surrender. But I can tell you that the original structure of the party that kept the party running for 22 years before he came, despite all the registration exercises that Mahmoud Jega did about 3 times, Yakub also did about 2 times, and all of that, which never affected the party. Despite all of that, those structures are still intact, and they are ready to rebuild them, refocus them, and ensure that they are more propelled to deliver on the expectations of Nigerians. And so we are not bothered about what has happened. Of course, it's bound to happen, especially when you have trust for people and then it fails, you know. What you need to do is to pick up your, the crumbs and then ensure that you move on from there. That's exactly
safe to say that this drama is not yet over.
There's no drama.
Dr. Agbor Major,
there's no drama.
Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always good to hear from you.
There's no drama.
Thank you so much for the analysis.
It's my pleasure.
All right. That is our offering for you on Daily Politics this evening. Thank you so much for your time and company. We'll be back tomorrow live and exclusive on Trust TV at 8 p.m. Until next time, I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.